that BattleFrog is putting on. Are you guys excited? Let's hope you guys are excited. Who all, by show of hands, is this their first BattleFrog? Look at that. Not only their first BattleFrog, but they picked the hardest one first. That's what I like to see. How many out here, this is their first 24-hour event? An equal number of hands. That's what I like to see. You guys are ready to rock this, aren't you? All right, guys, there's a lot of hard work that went into this. Our BFX director is still getting this course perfect for you guys. So I'm going to hand it over to Ryan Atkins, who's going to cover over the brief, the race director for BFX24. Ryan, take it away.
Hey guys, how's it going? So I think everyone's pretty excited. I'm really excited. Lots of last minute stuff going on and things being done, but I think everything's going to be good and it's going to be a great course. So I designed the course, and with David Moore, he was the assistant, or helped me as a race director for this event. So he's been answering a lot of your guys' questions in the community room, and he can say a few words in a minute. But I'm basically just going to go over all the rules with you guys that are relevant at this point. Alright, so the first relevant thing is the timing. So the course is going to start, it's going to open at 5 p.m., which is in 29 minutes. Blackout's going to start at 6:30. So if you're coming through the pit area after 6:30, you have to grab your headlight. So make sure that's on you. And yeah, I mean, guys, it's going to get pretty dark out there in some spots, so you're going to need a headlight. So just make sure it's working. Blackout ends at 8:30 a.m. The course closes at 5 p.m. So unlike World's Toughest Mudder, you have to finish your lap before 5 p.m. So you can't go out at 4:59 and go out another lap. So realistically, if you're not leaving the pit zone by probably 4 p.m. and going for a hard lap, you probably won't have time to get it done. So just keep that in mind. I don't want to see anybody out there come across the finish line at 5:01. That would suck. All right, so for this lap, for the first lap, you guys are going to start here at the starting corral, but then afterwards, right after the platinum rig down there, the one you can see, you're just going to basically go straight through. So you're not going to come through this starting corral anymore. And then on your very last lap, you guys are going to go through the finish line over there, which is the other archway. So yeah, and as you can see, there's the medical tents down there as well. So they're going to start checking lucidity at the nighttime hours and make sure that everybody's with it. I mean, you're only going to have run for a couple hours, so I think you should be pretty good at least for most of the night. Cool. So pit crew rules. I'm sure you guys have all read this already, but I'm just going to go over it. You aren't allowed to help any outside help from your pit crew. That's kind of the big one here. So they can't carry you, they can't, you know, anything like that. So let's try to keep that in mind and be cognizant of that. But other than that, they can help you in the pit zone, and they can make sure you guys are well helped and ready to do as many laps as possible. And we have got a pretty awesome orphan tent set up that I was checking out, so big round of applause. So I don't know, if I were you guys, I'd be taking advantage of that a little bit. It looks pretty awesome in there, lots of good goodies, but yeah, so that's awesome, good job. So already went over the timing, the blackout period. Okay, so you guys, this is a pretty basic rule, but you're not allowed to cut the course at any point. We do have timing mats out there, checking where you are and stuff, but I mean, this is kind of a honesty thing and having some integrity to not do this. The course, there's not very many spots where it doubles back on itself really tight and that you even could cut course. There is one spot in the mountain bike trails, which is at the far end of the park, and we get to run on one of the I think the cooler mountain bike trails out there, and it's got some switchbacks and some hills and a little bridge on it and stuff. But just don't cut the switchbacks, stay on the trail, be honest with yourself, and you'd only save yourself a few steps anyway, so cool. No ceramic or metal cleats or plastic cleats, that's not allowed. It wouldn't really help you out here anyways. It's mostly sand and concrete and trails, so traction's not really going to be an issue. Most trail shoes should be fine. So clothing, if you have any clothing on you, you need to carry it with you through the whole course until you get back to the pit zone. Any gear, anything like that. So that means for people who aren't familiar with BattleFrog, we've got a few obstacles that are, in the past, people have taken off their shoes to try to get different traction on tip of the spear and some obstacles like that. If you do that, you got to keep your shoes with you. You shove them down your pants, put them in your shirt, tie them around your neck. I don't care, just keep them with you, and then keep them with you till you get back to the pit zone, and then proceed on. That's a pretty, it's kind of new, I guess, or just something to keep in mind. Alright, so yeah, no assistance, course marshals. So the way I think about the course marshals is these guys are kind of, well, A, be polite to the course marshals.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it.
My wife.
Yeah. I mean, this is huge. This is like just being respectful, and if you come up to an obstacle or a point on course or something, and a course marshal tells you something, and you are absolutely positive that you are right, then that's okay. I think you guys are all pretty smart people. Carry on, and then when I talk to the course marshal about that, we can cross that road when we get there. But realistically, if you have any doubt in your mind about whether you're 100% right or not, then do what the course marshal says. They do make mistakes, and that's why I'm saying this, but I think we're going to brief them as best we can and have them doing a good job out there. Cool, so we have several mandatory obstacles. None of them are insanely hard. We've got the 12-foot ladder wall, 2-foot wall gauntlet, which I'm hoping will get progressively harder as the night goes on. We've got over-under throughs, hump overs, jerry can carry, delta ladder, the Hooyah, Normandy jacks, 6-foot wall, 8-foot wall, ramp wall, inverted wall, 60-degree wall, rec bag carry, 4-foot wall, which you have to do with the rec bag, slackline, tunnel rats, and that's it. So for the rec bag carry, you guys aren't allowed to put the rec bag on the ground when you go over the 4-foot wall. So place it on the wall, jump over the wall, pick it back up, keep going. You can also kind of balance it on your shoulders and hurdle it. It's awkward, but you can do it. So that's one thing to keep in mind. For the Hooyah, you're going to come down into some soft sand. Due to the tide, we weren't able to get you guys out into the water, but just make sure you go feet first while volunteers there, and just be careful there. Yeah? So, yeah, if the bag falls off the wall, you're okay. Just try to keep it up there.
Okay.
Don't be throwing the bag over the wall and then jumping over and then going and picking it up. It's fine. And then one other thing that I have to mention, in a few spots where you have you guys running along the beach, so this will be nice for your feet. It's gonna tear them up pretty good. But the other thing is we had limited room for setting up some of the wider walls. So a few of the walls on the beach are parallel to your direction of travel. So you're gonna approach them, and it's not gonna really look like a wall, but once you get beside it, go over it and then keep going. So that's just a little different. But lots of nice beach running. It's gonna be pretty cool. All right, I think that's, so for the jerry cans, we've got 2 big cans for the guys and 2 smaller cans for the women. Okay, So onto the obstacles with penalties, and I'm going to actually go over the penalties right now, and they're all pretty cool. So for the 12-foot rope wall, which is a big wall with ropes that you have to climb up, we're going to have you guys do a little bit of a loop on the kids course. So it's a running loop with a few obstacles on there. So it's going to take a minute or two. The rope climb is, for the men, it's going to be a double rec bag carry if you fail the rope bag. So you've got to be able to clean and press 100 pounds onto your back, do a little run, and come back and put them down. So that's going to be a little tough, but I think you can do it. One bag for the women. The Weaver is also going to be on a different part of the kids course. So for the Weaver obstacle, in case you're not familiar, you've got to actually weave your way up and over one bar and then underneath the other bar. So it's a fairly difficult obstacle. For the tip of the spear, the penalty is you're gonna have to crawl underneath the tip of the spear. So you're gonna go down underneath one side of it, and then you're gonna go back up the other side of it. So you're crawling for about 140 feet under the actual obstacle. So that would be good. Wedge wall. The wedge wall is also a crawl. We taped off a low crawl for you guys, and it's about 40 or 50 feet long. Platinum rig number 1, we're going to get you to do a carry. When you get there, you're going to get to see what you can carry. Monkey bars.
6 rec bags.
6 rec bags, yeah. So for the monkey bars, the way it's going to work for you guys is if you pass the monkey bars, you actually get a free pass on the rec bag carry right after it. So monkey bars, and then right after is rec bag carry. And then if you don't succeed on the monkey bars, you just pick up the rec bag and you do the same loop regardless, but you just don't have to take the rec bag with you if you do the monkey bars. Got it? Alright, and then finally, platinum rig number 2, which is that one over there. So the guys are going to carry 2 jerry cans and a rec bag for the penalty loop. And the girls are going to carry 1 jerry can and a rec bag. It's a pretty short loop, but you guys have to figure out the best way to carry that. So good luck. Alright. So as far as wildlife out here goes, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. We've been here all week building. There are some crocodiles. They're pretty small, the ones we've seen. They're only, you know, yeah, little guys. I'd stay away from them personally, but yeah. And then you are swimming in the ocean. Well, not swimming, but you're in the ocean, knee-deep water for twice on the course for not very long. But just be aware that you're in the ocean. There's, we all know what's in the ocean. All sorts of stuff. So, yeah. So just be aware that we're going to have lifeguards and lots of medics out there, and it's going to be lit up. So that should be okay. And all the other wildlife, I think, is pretty harmless. There's some cats and stuff too. All right. So there's a rig challenge as well. So I'll just talk about that real quick. If you can keep the person who is able to make it through the rigs for the longest period of time without failing is going to be the king of the rigs, basically. And so that's kind of a separate challenge going on. Rigs are fairly difficult, so it'll be interesting to see who wins that. And yeah, it should be good. So this is something I forgot to mention. For all the mandatory obstacles, there's no helping each other on them. So you can't jump on someone's back or give them a leg up for the mandatory obstacles. For the ones that are not mandatory, you can help each other. That's okay. Well, I mean, it says penalty loop, so you know if it's mandatory or not. All right, so I think that's about it as far as everything I have here to tell you guys about. Does anybody have any questions? To be a finisher, I believe we set the mark at 5 laps. So you gotta complete 5 laps. If you guys do 5 laps in 4 hours and then go to sleep for 20 hours, you're still a finisher. Any other questions, guys? Yeah. No, I mean, there's been numerous iterations of the course, but it's as close to 5 miles, 5.00 as I could possibly get it. So, yeah. Every lane of the rig should be the same. Nautical miles. No, I'm just kidding.
Alright, they're turning it over to Coach James soon, so we'll start a new feed for the pop-up and the start.
I'm not